History isn't just written in books, it's woven into language, culture, and the lives we live today. Welcome to Echoes of Germany's Power and Truth, where we uncover the truths, contrasts, and forgotten stories behind the world's most fascinating nations. Today, we're diving into the 7 surprising differences between Germany and Austria and why they matter. And trust me, it's not what you think. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get started. Have you ever wondered why Germany and Austria, two countries that speak the same language, often feel worlds apart? On the surface, it might seem like they're cultural twins. Both speak German, both sit in the heart of Europe, and both share centuries of intertwined history. But dig just a little deeper, and you'll find that these two nations have very distinct personalities, values, and worldviews. From their accents and humor, to their food, politics, and even how they handle rules. What separates Germany and Austria is more than just a border. Germany is often seen as the structured, powerhouse engine of Europe. Austria, on the other hand, is the laid-back classical soul nestled in the Alps. But what truly defines each nation, and how much of what you think you know, is actually true? And before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because we bring you rich, thought-provoking content on European culture every single week. Now, let's uncover the real story behind these two fascinating countries. Number 1. Historical background. To truly understand the difference between Germany and Austria, we have to go way back before the idea of either country as we know them even existed. For centuries, there wasn't one unified Germany or Austria. Instead, there was the Holy Roman Empire, a massive patchwork of kingdoms, duchies, and principalities spread across Central Europe. Both German and Austrian territories were part of this sprawling empire. But it was the Austrians under the powerful Habsburg dynasty who took center stage. For a long time, Austria was the empire, but things changed dramatically in the 19th century. Cue the Austro-Prussian rivalry, a bitter power struggle between two German-speaking giants. On one side, the Austrian Empire with its rich tradition and aristocratic flair. On the other, Prussia, militaristic, efficient, and hungry for dominance. In 1866, the rivalry boiled over into the Austro-Prussian War. Prussia won decisively, effectively pushing Austria out of German unification efforts. Germany was unified without Austria, and the two began carving out very separate identities. Fast forward to the 20th century. In 1938, the infamous Anschluss happened. Nazi Germany annexed Austria in a move that would become one of the first major steps toward World War II. For a brief moment, the two nations were one, but after the war, Austria deliberately distanced itself from Germany, declaring neutrality and forging a more peaceful, independent path. These moments didn't just shape politics, they etched deep differences into the DNA of each nation. Stay with us, because what comes next, language, culture, lifestyle, will show just how far those historic ripples still reach today. Number 2. Language similarities and differences. At first glance, this should be simple. Both Germany and Austria speak German, right? Well, yes, but also, not quite. Imagine two friends who grew up speaking the same language but in totally different neighborhoods. Over time, their accents change, their slang evolves. They develop their own expressions, their own flavor. That's what happened with Standard German in Germany and Austrian German in Austria. Both countries use Hochdeutsch, the official or standard German used in news, schools, and formal writing. But when you hit the streets, things start to sound very different. In Germany, you might hear someone say, "Ich hätte gern ein Brötchen." I'd like a bread roll. In Austria, "I hätte gerne Semmel." Same meaning, totally different word, and that's just the beginning. In Germany, Tschüss means bye. In Austria, Servus or Baba, a more warm, casual farewell. The accent also changes drastically. Austrian German is often described as softer, more melodic, almost sing-song. Some German speakers even say Austrian sounds romantic or old-fashioned. Meanwhile, certain regional Austrian dialects, especially in the mountains, are nearly impossible for northern Germans to understand. And let's not forget food lingo. In Germany, Sahne for cream. In Austria, Obers. You want whipped cream on your coffee? Better know the local word or you'll confuse your barista. So yes, Germany and Austria technically speak the same language, but they're like two cousins with very different personalities and very different vocabularies. What's the funniest or most surprising German or Austrian word you've heard or maybe even misunderstood? Drop it in the comments, we'd love to hear your stories. And if you're enjoying this cultural deep dive, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more fascinating breakdowns of Europe's hidden contrasts. On to the next difference. Number 3. Cultural contrast. Language isn't the only thing that sets these two nations apart. Their cultures feel like different worlds. Let's start with attitude and vibe. Germans are famously structured, serious, and efficient. Punctuality is practically a religion. If you're not 10 minutes early, you're late. Everything is orderly. Meanwhile, Austrians are known for being more easygoing and relaxed. They enjoy their coffee breaks, Kaffeehauskultur, and take a slower, more poetic approach to life. In Austria, the joke goes, why do something today if you can do it tomorrow, slowly? And speaking of jokes, humor is another key difference. German humor often gets a bad rap for being dry or too logical. Think clever wordplay and sarcastic wit. Austrians, however, embrace a more ironic, even dark sense of humor. It's playful, tongue-in-cheek, and often self-deprecating, almost like they're in on a joke the rest of Europe hasn't caught yet. What about bureaucracy? Germans love rules. There's a system for everything. And yes, a form for that. Austrians? They also have bureaucracy, but they've mastered the art of bending the rules politely, of course. Now let's talk food. Germany gives you currywurst, bratwurst, and beer halls full of hearty energy. Austria brings you the elegance of Wiener Schnitzel, strudel, and dainty cafes with centuries of tradition. And the soundtrack to all this? Germany boasts Bach-precise, mathematical beauty in music. Austria claims Mozart graceful, emotional, and timeless. Two nations, same roots, two very different rhythms. Which culture would you feel more at home in, Germany's order or Austria's ease? Let us know in the comments and keep watching because the next contrast may just surprise you. Number 4. Economic and political differences. Let's shift gears from culture to economics and politics, because while Germany and Austria may be neighbors, their roles on the European stage are dramatically different. First up, Germany, the undisputed economic powerhouse of Europe. With over 80 million people and a GDP ranking in the world's top 5, Germany leads the continent in manufacturing, exports, and innovation. Think of global giants like BMW, Siemens, and Volkswagen, all made in Germany. But Germany isn't just an industrial machine. It's also a political heavyweight in the European Union. From shaping EU policy to steering financial bailouts, Germany often sets the tone for the entire continent, and it doesn't shy away from global leadership. Now let's talk about Austria. Smaller in population and economy, yes, but don't underestimate its strength. Austria ranks consistently high in quality of life, stability, and economic resilience. Its economy is diverse, service-based, and heavily influenced by tourism, banking, and advanced manufacturing. Where Austria truly stands out is its political neutrality. Since World War II, Austria has maintained a stance of military non-alignment. It's not a NATO member and often plays the role of mediator, hosting international organizations and peace talks. Vienna is even home to parts of the United Nations and OPEC. Germany flexes hard power. Austria prefers soft diplomacy. Both strategies work, but in very different ways. In the EU, Germany is the driver. Austria, the calm co-pilot, with a map and a good sense of direction. Which approach do you think the world needs more of today? Bold leadership or quiet stability? Tell us in the comments and get ready, because the social side of these countries might surprise you even more. Number 5. Lifestyle and society. So, how do Germans and Austrians actually live day to day? What's it like to walk their streets, raise a family, or just enjoy a Sunday? Let's start with the cost of living. Germany, being larger and more economically varied, has a wider range. Cities like Munich or Frankfurt can be expensive, especially when it comes to rent, while places in eastern Germany or smaller towns are more affordable. Austria, on the other hand, tends to be slightly more expensive overall, especially in Vienna, but offers strong public services in return. Both countries provide excellent healthcare systems and free or low-cost education, including universities. But Austria often scores a bit higher in global quality of life rankings thanks to cleaner cities, lower crime rates, and that famously relaxed pace of life. Speaking of pace, let's talk about work-life balance. Germany is known for its precision and productivity. People work hard and efficiency is king. But don't be fooled, Germans also value their free time, with strong labor protections and generous holidays. Austria, however, takes it even further. The attitude is, work to live, not live to work. Long coffee breaks, 3-hour Sunday lunches, and slow summer months are all part of the rhythm, especially in Vienna. And that brings us to the capital cities. Berlin is bold, gritty, political, and rebellious. It pulses with creativity, activism, and tech. Vienna is elegant, classical, clean, with an imperial charm and refined pace. Think Mozart and marble, not street art and protests. So which lifestyle speaks to you? Germany's dynamic drive or Austria's calm charm? Drop your answer in the comments and don't go anywhere, because our final contrast dives deep into identity and perception. Number 6. Communication style. If you really want to understand the soul of a culture, just listen to how its people speak. In Germany, communication is all about clarity, logic, and getting straight to the point. There's very little room for guessing or reading between the lines. If a German person doesn't like your idea, they'll probably tell you directly, "Das funktioniert nicht." That doesn't work. It's not rude, it's honest. In fact, being blunt is seen as a virtue, a sign of respect for your time and intelligence. Now cross the border into Austria, and the tone shifts subtly but unmistakably. Austrians tend to communicate with more nuance and layers. There's diplomacy, irony, and often a soft, dry sarcasm that can completely go over a foreigner's head. Where a German might say no, an Austrian might say, "Na ja, schauen wir mal." Well, let's see. It sounds open-ended, but it could very well mean definitely not. You just have to feel the tone. This difference isn't just about language, it reflects deeper cultural values. Germany values precision and structure, even in speech. Austria values subtlety and wit, where context is king and words are only half the message. So if you're visiting, don't be surprised if a German colleague gives feedback like an engineer, while an Austrian waiter roasts you with a smile. Which style do you prefer? Brutal honesty or clever subtlety? Tell us below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you've been learning something new. There's still one more surprise before we wrap up. Number 7. Perception and identity. Let's wrap things up with something deeper: how Germans and Austrians see themselves and each other. You might assume that because they share a language and a lot of history, their sense of identity would be almost the same. But actually, this is where some of the strongest contrasts appear. In general, Germans tend to see themselves as global citizens, part of a big, powerful country with a serious responsibility politically, economically, and historically. They're a focus on efficiency, accountability, and making sure the past never repeats itself. Germans are often self-critical, and national pride is more subdued. Austrians, meanwhile, often have a more relaxed, even humorous view of their national identity. They're a quiet confidence in their traditions, their neutrality, and their role as a cultural bridge in Europe. They've managed to craft an identity that feels distinct, not German, not entirely Central European, but uniquely Austrian. And how do they see each other? Some Germans might joke that Austrians are Germans with charm. Austrians might respond that Germans are Austrians without humor. It's playful, sometimes sharp, but rarely hostile. In truth, these nations are like two siblings who took very different paths in life. They share roots, memories, and language, but they've each become their own person. So what do you think? Can two countries speak the same language, yet see the world so differently? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this journey opened your eyes, because there's always more to uncover and we're just getting started. So what have we learned? Germany and Austria may share a language, a region, and centuries of history, but beneath the surface, they beat with very different hearts. One is driven by precision, power, and principle. The other dances to the rhythm of grace, charm, and subtle humor, and that's the beauty of it. Same roots, different stories. If this video opened your eyes, sparked a smile, or taught you something new, then don't just leave quietly. Like it, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to join us on more journeys across cultures, borders, and untold truths. This is more than just a channel. This is Echoes of Germany's Power and Truth, where history meets humanity, and every story has a soul. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.